Praise be to Jesus. Let us pray. Saint Michael the Archangel, defend us in battle. Be our defense against the wickedness and snares of the devil. May God rebuke him, we humbly pray. And do thou, O Prince of the heavenly hosts, by the power of God, thrust into hell Satan and all the evil spirits who prowl about the world, seeking the ruin of souls. Amen. Hi everyone, Charles here with you on a Thursday evening. Well, a couple of the news outlets have sort of a synopsis of the day's events. And, I'm going to read this one to you here. This is from the Associated Press. They don't really, well, and if they do have an agenda, it's nothing like, some of the other news outlets. They're going to see things just more as, this happened and that happened. And that's really all I want to tell you. I don't want, I don't want the church militant slant on, the meaning of this or anything, So I'm just going to basically tell you what happened during the day. And like I said, Church Militant has something up if you want to go read that. But here's the Associated Press. All right, so, they've been doing this in little paragraphs, and each paragraph is time-stamped. So at 10:20, Pope Francis makes some, remarks, which we'll just skip over that because that's just rhetoric, there really isn't any substance there. All right, so at 10:05, well, it says 10:05 p.m., but it means a.m., I'm sure. A leading Filipino cardinal has told his brother bishops at the start of a historic sex abuse summit at the Vatican that each of them must take personal responsibility to heal the wounds caused by the scandal in their communities. Manila Cardinal Luis Tagle choked up several times as he delivered the keynote speech Thursday to the unprecedented gathering of bishops and religious superiors summoned to the Vatican for a 4-day tutorial. Oh, well, now it's a tutorial. He told them the wounds the clergy abuse scandal has caused among the faithful recalled the wounds of Christ on the cross. Wow. I think the church's wounds are more like self-inflicted wounds. It's more like suicide. It doesn't. I don't think it has anything to do with. He's trying to compare it to the wounds of Christ. No, come on. Well, Tagle is whatchamacallit, is a modernist. He demanded church leaders no longer run in fear or turn a blind eye to the harm caused by abuses and their cover-ups. He said, faith that would like to close its eyes to people's suffering is just an illusion. Okay, Cardinal, we'll move on. 11:35 a.m. The Vatican's leading sex crime investigator has told bishops they must protect their flocks at all costs from sexually abusive priests, telling them they must investigate sex abuse crimes and prevent pedophiles from entering the priesthood. Archbishop Charles Scicluna repeatedly cited Pope Benedict XVI in giving a point-by-point tutorial on preventing abuse at a summit of church leaders Thursday. Pope Francis called them to the Vatican to respond to blah, 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 blah. Scicluna told the bishops that the people of God should come to know us as friends of their safety and that of their children. They should come to know us as friends of their safety and that of their children. He vowed, we will protect them at all costs. We will lay down our lives for the flocks entrusted to us. Yay! Bravo! more, such dramatic words, and, take a look at their actions up until this point. It's like a real pep rally, it sounds like it's turning out. All right, 12:15 p.m. All right, now we're in the afternoon session. Catholic Church leaders attending a landmark Vatican summit on preventing clergy sex abuse have heard videotaped testimony from victims of the trauma of their abuse and their cruel indifference shown to them by bishops and religious superiors. One woman from Africa told the summit that the priest who began raping her at age 15 forced her to have 3 abortions and beat her when she refused them sex. The dramatic, I mean, how many cases are like that? Well, anyway, here, we're going to skip this one. All right, that's that one. 3:25 p.m. An Italian victim of clergy sex abuse says this country should renegotiate a 90-year-old treaty with the Vatican that he says lets offending priests off the hook. Well, I don't know what that's about. We're going to skip that one. All right. There's one in here that's good, though. Pope Francis has issued, 21 proposals to stem the clergy sex abuse around the world, calling for specific protocols to handle accusations against bishops and for lay experts to be involved in abuse investigations. Francis distributed the list on Thursday as he opened his high-stakes abuse prevention summit at the Vatican. The 4-day event brings together blah, blah, blah. The aim of, okay, so he's got 21 proposals here. I'm yet to see them. I'm not saying they're not on the internet. I just haven't seen them yet. So, all right. So let's see here. 4:40 p.m. A Polish survivor of clergy sex abuse says a meeting with Pope Francis and the kiss the pontiff planted on his hand shows Francis's goodwill in addressing the problem of priests molesting children. So Pope Francis kissed the abusers, not the abuser, the abusee, I guess. The person who was abused. He kissed his hand, so I guess that scored points right there. All right, well, we're really getting down to business here. All right, here's the one I like. 5:45 p.m. A Colombian cardinal has warned fellow Roman Catholic bishops at a Vatican summit that they could be imprisoned for covering up crimes if they don't properly deal with clergy sex abuse cases. I can't imagine that they haven't known that, but, they just depend on their, on their silence, on their vows of silence together. In a remarkable speech at the Abuse Prevention Summit, Cardinal Ruben Salazar Gomez on Thursday also denounced how bishops tend to believe priests over people reporting abuse allegations. My guess would be that sounds like that would hold some water. Salazar, the Archbishop of Bogota, also blasted the confidentiality agreements often attached to Catholic Church financial settlements with victims as an attempt to buy their silence. Boy, there's a whole new concept, huh? How long's that been going on? Well, you know what? It's probably been going on for centuries, I mean, I can't imagine that it hasn't been going on for centuries. Well, at least he, put it, I mean, the words came out of his mouth. He, spoke the words, where they don't like talking about that kind of stuff. Well, that's the Associated Press roundup of day one, and I think we can assume that, after all this rhetoric has happened, everybody's going to, excuse me, they're all going to be given the final document, sign on the dotted line, because these documents, are written beforehand. All this is just, in actuality, this summit and any of these things, where there are these big gatherings, all these final conclusions and stuff. I mean, they were all written beforehand. I mean, they know the people who are going to speak. They know basically what they're going to say. I mean, this is really just a show for the world. And, I mean, we want to see what the final document looks like, see what the points are, so forth and so on. A lot of it's going to be obscure or very generalized sorts of not only information, but, direction that the church is taking, I mean, it really boils down to, what's in the bishops' hearts and all this kind of stuff. And, we find that out by their actions. So, it would take some amount of time to, for all this to play out, But, I mean, as far as this thing here is concerned, these 4 days, I mean, I can't imagine somebody's going to bring up something new here, and stand up and say, Archbishop Kupich is absolutely wrong. I absolutely disagree with him that, homosexuality is at the root of the problem, and it's not abuse of power. I think he's absolutely wrong. I think we need to have open discussion on this afternoon, and I put that forward to the chairman, I put that forward to Pope Francis for him to decide on it. I mean, who's going to stand up and say something like that? Well, I mean, we could hope that somebody does, I mean, really, really let them fight it out, so to speak, Let the modernists and the traditionalists fight it out in this open setting. I would really love to see this. This would be great. It would be great, just to show the world, the mess that the church is in and how deep the division is, But no, I mean, probably all this is just going to go along, we're just going to have this thing happen and everything's going to be okay and we're moving forward, but, they're not really dealing with anything here. Everybody's saying the same thing. They're not really dealing with the root cause of what the problem is, and so, all right, well, and I don't think they want to deal with it. They want to whatchamacallit. They want to, just get us to accept homosexuality in the church. That's all, I mean, they're priests, so what? They're homosexual. What they do in their private lives isn't anybody's business, and then you got this Pan-Amazonian thing coming up where they're going to be talking about chastity. Oh, yeah, right. Just chastity for a certain group of people in a certain place in the world. Well, break down that wall and then that'll grow, I mean, look how quickly all this has come upon us in a handful of years. I mean, it's, God it's been a seed for a long time, but now it's flowering, it's coming out in full bloom for everyone to see. Or anybody who wants to pay attention, I mean, even the modernists can't, are aware that there's a strong element. I don't know how strong it is, but, there's an element in the church that is just really vehemently opposed to this whole modernism and this whole acceptance of homosexuality and communion for the remarried and using your conscience to decide whether or not you committed a sin, instead of the 10 Commandments, which we've done for a couple of thousand years. All right, well, I'm off on a roll here, so I'm going to stop. Okay, well, oh boy, this one's going to run long. All right, I don't know how many people listen to me ranting at the end of the video. I don't think very many at all. I think the average time for people listening to my videos is 2.5 minutes, which isn't even through the whole story. I mean, they just want to get the first couple of paragraphs and then like go to the next one or go to another website. I mean, it's like rush, rush, rush. Everybody's, in this state of anxiety, rushing around. I mean, that's not really the way to absorb information. You really need to spend time with your thoughts, not just jam all this stuff into your head. Okay, well, we'll talk to you later. Bye.